No one really noticed when the world started ending. At first, it was just the news playing quietly in the background of Crescent Valley High's morning announcements, talk of a new infection spreading through the city. The teachers told everyone not to panic, that it would blow over soon. But by the end of the week, the streets outside were empty, the sirens never stopped, and the sky felt wrong, like the color had drained out of it. Inside the school, a dozen students remained. The government had ordered a citywide lockdown, and buses stopped running before anyone could go home. Principal Reeves told them to stay calm, that help would come soon. But he stopped answering the intercom after the second day. The halls were cold now, echoing with every whisper. The power flickered at night, and the smell from the cafeteria, spoiled food and cleaning chemicals, hung in the air like rot. Among the students was Mira, 17, quiet, observant, always sketching in her notebook. She tried to draw what was happening, but the pages looked like nightmares. Faceless people, empty eyes, long corridors with something waiting at the end. By the third night, someone started pounding on the doors. At first, everyone thought it was the rescue team. Then, they saw what was outside. Figures, pale, twitching, moving wrong. Their skin looked bruised, and their mouths hung open like broken dolls. They slammed their hands against the glass, not in a plea for help, but in hunger. Someone screamed. Mira didn't. She just stared. They barricaded the main doors with tables and filing cabinets. The building creaked with every hit from the outside. The infected didn't stop coming. They pressed their faces against the windows, leaving streaks behind. Eli, the class joker, kept trying to make light of it. Probably just people high on something, he laughed weakly, pushing desks into place. But later that night, Mira found him sitting alone in the science lab, staring at the emergency radio, whispering to himself. The next morning, one of the students was missing. Sasha, the track star. Her backpack was still by the gym door. They searched the whole building but found only her shoe by the back stairwell, its laces torn, its edge darkened by something that looked too much like dried blood. That night, they heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, dragging, wet. Everyone huddled in the teacher's lounge, holding flashlights like weapons. The footsteps stopped outside the door. The handle turned once, twice, and then went still. When they opened the door in the morning, the hallway was empty, but muddy prints trailed across the floor, leading toward the art room. Mira didn't speak for hours after that. The infection wasn't just outside. It had gotten in. One of the younger boys, Caleb, started coughing. He said he felt dizzy, his vision blurry. They told him to rest in the nurse's office, but by nightfall his skin was cold and gray, his breathing shallow. Eli wanted to leave him locked inside. "We can't risk it," he said. Mira sat beside the boy anyway, holding his hand until his pulse stopped. In the morning, his body was gone. Just a smear of dark stains across the tiles and a cracked window above the sink. That was when Mira started hearing things. At first, whispers, her name, soft and low, coming from behind the walls. Then, scratching sounds in the vents. And sometimes, when she closed her eyes, she could see her classmates' faces pale and flicker, as if they were already gone. By the fifth night, there were only 6 of them left. They tried to ration food from the vending machines, but hunger gnawed at their sanity. Eli stopped sleeping, pacing the halls with a broken broom handle like a spear. He said he saw shadows moving in the stairwell. No one believed him until the lights went out again. The sound came from below, the gymnasium. A door slamming, a thud, and then a scream that echoed through every floor. They never found Lena, the shy girl who used to play violin in the music room. Only her bow was discovered later, splintered near the stage curtain. Mira began to draw again, feverishly. Pages filled with shapes she couldn't name. Shadows crawling across ceilings, faces behind glass, things that looked human but weren't. Her hands shook, but she couldn't stop. It was as if something was guiding her pencil. When Eli found her sketchbook, he flipped through it silently, page after page, his face draining of color. "These," he whispered, These are what's outside. Mira looked at him with hollow eyes. No, she said softly. These are what's inside. On the 7th night, the barricade broke. The pounding on the doors grew louder, faster, until the hinges screamed. Wood splintered. Desks slid across the floor. Mira and Eli ran through the hallways, tripping over debris. The others were scattered, screaming somewhere in the dark. The infected flooded in, not running, but swarming, like waves of silent hunger. Their eyes were glassy, their movements twitching like broken marionettes. Mira grabbed Eli's hand and dragged him toward the rooftop exit, but halfway up the stairs, he stumbled. "Go," he gasped. "I can't." She turned, saw his eyes already clouding. He was shaking, teeth clenched, skin blotched with gray. He looked at her one last time. "Don't let me become one of them." Then he lunged, not at her, but toward the railing, throwing himself backward into the stairwell. The sound that followed wasn't human. Mira ran. The roof was cold, the wind sharp. From up there she could see the whole city, dead lights, empty cars, and fires burning in the distance. The streets looked like veins spreading from the school, pulsing with movement far below. The infected were everywhere. She backed away from the edge, trembling. The door behind her creaked open. "Mira?" It was Sasha. Alive, or at least something like it. Her skin was pale, her movements stiff, her smile too wide. "They're not what you think," Sasha whispered. "They're not sick. They're awake." Mira stumbled backward. "You're lying." Sasha's head tilted, a faint twitch. "They showed me. It's not death. It's release. No more fear, no more pain. You'll see." She stepped closer, and for a moment, Mira saw the reflection of herself in Sasha's eyes, tired, hollow, trembling. Maybe she wanted to believe it. Maybe surrender would be easier. But then she saw something behind Sasha. The others, moving through the door, silent and smiling, faces familiar and wrong. Mira ran. She sprinted across the rooftop, shoes scraping the gravel, lungs burning. The edge came faster than she thought. She stopped, the city yawning below her like a black sea. The wind carried voices, her friends calling her name, sweetly, like they used to in the hallways. "Mira, come back. Mira, we're safe now. Mira." They were standing in a line behind her, faces lit by the faint red glow of the fires below. Their mouths moved in unison, eyes shining. And then, all at once, they screamed. The sound shattered the air. Mira didn't think. She stepped forward. The fall felt endless. The air rushed past her ears, and for the first time in days, she felt quiet, weightless. As she fell, she thought she saw something rising from the streets. A wave of faces, hundreds of them, all turning upward, waiting to catch her, and she understood. Maybe Sasha had been right. Maybe this wasn't an infection at all. Maybe it was a kind of awakening. When she hit the ground, there was no pain, only silence. Days later, Crescent Valley High still stood at the edge of the dead city, its windows dark, its halls quiet. Sometimes when the wind passes through the broken doors, you can hear laughter inside. Soft, echoing, like teenagers between classes. And if you listen closely, it sounds almost human.